When it comes to major world conflicts, Canada often takes the role of a quiet observer. The country has only fought in 2 major wars over the last 50 years, notably taking a backseat during the United States invasions of Vietnam and Iraq. Within its borders, Canada maintains low levels of corruption, violent crime, and domestic dissent. So we wanted to know, how does Canada manage to stay so peaceful? Well, Canada has a long history of domestic peace and non-intervention. Until the 1930s, the country's military and foreign affairs were under British control, as a British protectorate. That meant that when Britain joined World War I in 1914, Canada was automatically roped into the conflict. The country then voluntarily fought alongside the Allies in World War II. But after the war, Canada forged a unique national identity focused on peace, multiculturalism, and social liberalism. Today, Canada still holds true to these values. The country spends roughly 10 times more on healthcare than it does on its military, and allocates much of its defense budget toward international peacekeeping. In fact, the UN's peacekeeping program largely stems from former Canadian Prime Minister Lester Pearson. In 1956, he created the UN body that resolved Egypt and Israel's Suez Crisis, a body which continued to be used for peacekeeping missions around the world. Additionally, Canada recently allocated $450 million to peacekeeping missions over the next 3 years. Domestically, Canada maintains an extraordinarily low violent crime rate, with just over 500 homicides in 2014. The country's strict gun laws also keep gun violence low, with just 172 firearm-related homicides in 2012. Canada's unique criminal justice system is heavily focused on prevention rather than enforcement, and experts say citizens have never felt safer in their communities. However, Canada's Indigenous community, or First Nations, may not agree, as they have for decades been disproportionately victim to violent crime. According to government statistics, nearly 1/4 of the homicide victims in 2014 were Indigenous, despite the fact that they account for just 5% of the population. In Canada, inclusivity and multiculturalism, though, is encouraged, and decades of liberal immigration policies have made the country a melting pot of ethnicities and nationalities. Government statistics suggest that within the next 15 years, nearly half of Canada's adult population will be foreign-born or have at least one foreign-born parent. Unlike many other countries which resist immigration, Canadians tend to be extraordinarily welcoming. For instance, shortly after Prime Minister Justin Trudeau took office in 2015, his administration pledged to take in up to 50,000 Syrian refugees in less than 2 years, promoting the program with the hashtag #WelcomeRefugees. This was largely made possible by a law that allows private citizens to directly sponsor refugees. Coincidentally, this 1978 initiative was spearheaded by Trudeau's father, who wanted to take in thousands who were forced to flee repressive communist regimes in Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos. By 1980, Canada had resettled over 60,000 refugees, more than half of whom were sponsored by complete strangers. Canada's generosity toward immigrants and refugees is one of the many ways the country's laws have influenced its culture. The country is famous for consistently being among the first to implement progressive measures, including universal health care, same-sex marriage, and strict gun control. Studies show that a majority of Canadians have faith in their social welfare programs, support the growing diversity of their population, and believe that their country is on the right track. If you're a fan of history, science, and exploration, you should definitely check out Discovery Go, where you can watch all your favorite Discovery Channel shows in one place. Click the link in the description below to learn more. Unlike its neighbor to the south, Canada tends to stay out of international conflicts. But if the country did get involved, would it be able to defend itself? Just how powerful is Canada? Find out in this video.
Canada's biggest trading partner and geopolitical ally is the United States, which buys more Canadian exports than any other country and accounts for 1/3 of American oil usage. In fact, they are the 5th largest oil producer in the world with the 3rd largest oil reserves.
Thanks for watching Seeker Daily. Don't forget to like and subscribe for new videos every day.